Hey, how's it going? I'm your boy, Awesome Nobody. Follow me on Twitter, Awesome NOBDY. And yo, it's finally here. Disney Plus has launched. It's all over the place. I think they got something like 100 million subscribers the first day. Must be very, very nice. So I gave into the hype. I did, and I got Disney Plus. But instead of just getting the $6.99 a month, I said I'll just get the year because I want to see the Mandalorian. I wanted to see the other content, so I went ahead and got the whole, Disney Plus for the year. So I thought it was cool. So I jumped right in. I didn't watch the Mandalorian trailers besides from what I saw online. So I just saw a whole bunch of clips and quick vids online. But I went ahead and got it and then watched it pretty much later that day. And so, which would be like Wednesday. And now I didn't know that it wasn't like Netflix. I didn't know that the Mandalorian wasn't going to all be released at once. It's released weekly, and there is a schedule that I did see, and I'll put it up there. But pretty much every week they're going to drop a new episode, and I believe it goes up until the last week of December. So let's see real quick if I can find the schedule for the release. Let's see here. So, on this episode, I'm going to talk about I'm going to watch the trailer, and I'm going to talk about the Mandalorian. Let's see, and then I'll do another one where I'll talk about the different things that I saw on Netflix. I mean, not Netflix. Sorry, on Disney Plus. And I can't find it. I'm so upset. Here it is. Okay, so it looks like November 12th was the first episode. November 15th, which is Friday, which is tomorrow, if you're watching this, in just to get a grasp of the time, this is November 14th. And then Chapter 3 comes out the 22nd. Chapter 4 comes out the 29th. Chapter 5 comes out December 6th. Chapter 6 comes out December 13th. Chapter 7 comes out December 18th. And then Chapter 8, which looks like the season finale, comes out December 27th. So first, let's go look. I want to go to IMDB Mandalorian cast. I want to look at the cast real quick. So because if you've seen the trailer, the Mandalorian does not take off his mask. So I was just wondering, like, who the heck is the Mandalorian? So let's check this out. So it says, so look at this, highly, well received with a 9.1. Let's see, created by showrunner Jon Favreau, who you guys, of course, know from the Iron Man series. From a lot of his movies with Vince Vaughn. I'm very proud of this guy for starting making independent movies. Got involved with Iron Man. And and also this movie Chef. If you've never seen Chef, to me, I think this is his best work. He also has a thing on Netflix where he's basically taking that, not that character, but still cooking because it has such an impact on his life. And I mean, look, if you just see, he's just been producing his butt off. If you ask me, with these EP credits, man. I should Google search a picture of what his house looks like. I mean, just the EP on this Iron Man series alone will pay for his grandkids. And now with the Mandalorian and his Disney deal, I'm sure that's his grandkids. So some other gems here that I didn't know he made, which was Green Street Hooligans. I like that. Iron Man, okay. Chef, Revolution. I thought that was a good series. Age, and then all these other ones. All right, so let's get back to the Mandalorian. Let's see. So, who is the Mandalorian? Drum roll, please. Takes a while. I don't want to go into the episodes. I just want to go into the cast. Did I pass it? Oh no, full. Here it is. Every time I stream, my screen time gets slower. All right, so here's a surprise. Takiti Watiti. I can never say his name right, but he was basically the director. He was directing one episode, and he also was the voice of IG-11. Let's see. Oh wow, look, George Lucas did have writing credits on this, which is why so many people took to it. Okay, so let's look. Who was the Mandalorian? The Mandalorian is this fella right here, Pedro Pascal. So you might remember him as, drumroll please, Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones. That is right. The buck does not stop there. He a great character on Game of Thrones, and I mean big role for this. I mean I guess we knew about this already, but he definitely did a good job. Also, Narcos and Mandalorian. I mean, he was in Kingsman, The Great Wall, Equalizer 2. I mean, this guy is also another guy, no short checks. And then look, he's right now post production for Wonder Woman coming out. I'm guessing it was his 2020, so it must be Christmas time. They must be gearing to make an announcement. He was in Triple Frontier, Equalizer 2, Kingsman, Narcos, The Great Wall, Dishonored 2 video game. I mean, he's just racking up credits. Okay, so that is the Mandalorian under the mask. Now I don't know if they're gonna go with showing him, but maybe. So let's see who else did we see on the show but may not have known. Oh, Carl Weathers, my guy Carl Weathers. So Carl Weathers, if you don't know, Apollo Creed from Rocky. Famous role there. Also in original Predator, 1987 as Dylan. So iconic character. Good to see him still getting checks. Good to still see him, amongst the greats. Let's see. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of characters here. I'm just trying to pick out some people and get some names because, like I said, I watched the show but didn't watch the trailer. Oh, this is in Nick Nolte. I knew Nick Nolte was in it, but I didn't know what character. It looks like his character was the pig face guy I was talking about. Now, Taika Waititi was a voice actor. Now he did direct Thor Ragnarok, and he voiced one of the characters in that, and looks like he's back to voicing another character here. I'm just trying to see any other characters that might stick out. They said a couple of other people were supposed to be in here, and I'm actually looking, but I didn't see her in the first episode. Gina Carrera, or the MMA fighter. And I've seen her in tons and tons of promo for the show, but I think she might have been the forger because it looked like a female, but like I said, they don't take the mask off, so we don't know. All right, so let's watch the trailer. So I'm at the official Star Wars YouTube page. It looks like that's trailer 2. Okay, let's go back. So Star Wars YouTube page, the Mandalorian official trailer 2 months ago, 19 million views. All right, so let's. Of course, you won't be able to hear it. It's probably better that way because I've been posting a lot of videos and I haven't been able to post them because of the audio. Like, as soon as they hear something, they just cut it, and so I'm pretty much gonna have to do all my videos with no sound and just me talking. And I really hate that because it takes away the effect. But I think that if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll get the picture. All right, so literally you'll get the picture. So here it is, my first walkthrough of The Mandalorian. So I'll watch it and then I'll stop it later. So wow, that's big though. That's big. I mean, you see the stormtrooper skulls with the looks like blood. I bet you there's heads in there. A green planet. I don't know what planet that could be. Some cruisers on a desert planet. Could be Mos Eisley. Look at those little, looks like Pog caps. Remember Pogs? Yeah, that's some serious sun scorching. That's a serious desert right there. I mean, this is just so ominous, right? You just see clips and who is that? Oh, there she is. There's great visuals though, great colors. Some soldiers. Looks like a showdown at high noon. Okay, my man. But see, this is the thing. The trailers, of course, the trailer's doing its job. It's making it look like there's so much going on. There's going to be so much action. IG 11, I found out. I thought it was IG 88. Got him. Carbonite. Freeze him. Mm. That's a big. That's big. That's big. Disney Plus takeover. So I'm gonna run it back and go over a couple things here. So first thing, the stormtrooper helmets. So I was joking. I was like, I bet you there's a head. There's heads in there. I don't think there's heads for those, but I will say though, I think 100% that there's heads in those. I 100% think that there's heads in those. I mean, because if it was just a helmet, you know what I'm saying, they would have slid. It would have just slid down. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. But I was just thinking, and plus you see the blood stains on there. I mean, this is a lot. You know, it's one, two, three, four. It's pretty much a whole. Now these have to be the clones, right? So these stormtroopers were all clones. That's why they never took off their masks. So these were all the clones, right? Um, and then we see that this happened pretty much post Empire, and we saw from the trailer that there is a small faction of stormtroopers still alive. It looks like still fighting a good fight. Never knowing when to quit. But that just lets you know like who's leading them, right? Because it was the Emperor, right? Senator Palpatine. Sorry, spoiler if you've never seen Star Wars. Where have you been? But then it was, you know, I can't even remember the villain from the New Jedi series because he didn't last that long. Snoke or something like that. But I mean, so I'm just wondering like how it's being organized. It's probably just a guy, in command. I don't think it's a supernatural leader. But as far as Sith, there always must be two. I mean, I know from the Clone Wars that Darth Maul still survived, and he had to do something with the Mandalorians, but I don't think that crosses over to this. I was trying to just get a timeline in all this, right? And I figured out I had to do a lot of Googling and had to talk about a lot of, the Disney timeline, and I'll look at that in a minute. So here we go. Stormtroopers on a pike, blowing in the wind. Lucasfilms, and like we did see on IMDb, Lucas did write a um, a couple episodes, or had something to do with it. Now this is a very green planet. Now I was trying to think of what was the planet that Padme was from. That pretty much, I hate to mention his name, but like Jar Jar Binks and all those guys lived at. That was Tatooine? That wasn't Tatooine, but I think that this could possibly be that planet. It's definitely not the Mandalorian's home planet because the Mandalorian's home planet is Mandalore, which is in the Outer Rim. So, I mean, that kind of takes me back. So, where do I think this whole place, and I got some notes over here, where do I think this whole place takes place? I think the whole place takes place in the Outer Rim. I do. Now, usually all Star Wars movies start in space. Now, this obviously didn't start in space. And I guess they've kind of been breaking that tradition recently. There are a lot of elements that we did see. I mean, I feel like the desert planet is more recognizable, and I feel like the desert planet should be the real Star Wars, indicator. Like just being on the desert planet, because from the, New Hope to Mandalorian to, the Last Jedi or whatever, all those movies are all on desert planets. Sorry. I mean, here we see it just looks like some regular cruisers. And it looks to me like Mos Eisley. Now, Mos Eisley was the bar that Obi-Wan and Luke, they got into the fight with Ponta Baba and cut his arm off. And I kind of feel like the little bar scene was the same. Was the same here. They were in the bar and they were fighting. Now, there was Carl Weathers, like I was saying. Time has not done him justice, but it's good. It's good to see. It's good to see my guy still in the midst of everything. He's Apollo Creed, and also he was Dylan from The Predator. So some business deal going down. It just looks like it didn't look like he was with anybody, but just a bounty hunter. Maybe he was like Nas Kanata or something like that. Just runs a bar. He knows people. He's like a middleman. So I can't tell what planet this is on at all, but it looks dangerous. I mean, he pretty much lands, and then there's the MMA girl. I can't remember her name. Was it Gina Carrera, I want to say? I should just look her up real quick. I should just look her up. I was trying to look at the IMDb in Mandalorian. Yeah, Gina Carrero. I'm horrible at pronouncing names, but it's Carano. So that was her, and I think she's the one who basically forging his armor. And then that's Nick Nolte's character. Oh, wait, I went way back. I didn't mean to go back that far. That's Nick Nolte's character. He's riding one of those stupid things, and if you watched the episode already, you know what I'm talking about. It took them so long. Like I felt like that was the only unnecessary part was when he had to teach the Mandalorian how to ride the little bumpas or bacas or whatever it's called, so they could get out there to wherever he was going. And then I mean, this girl. I mean, these. Somebody made a joke about how these aliens are just like, you know what I'm saying, like love machines or whatever, and they just use them for like whatever. I mean, pretty much you saw that in the, you know, not Boba Fett, but the Jabba the Hutt scene when they fall into she falls into the pit after like dancing her heart out. But I mean, I guess I get a little bit inspiration from Rebels, and I know that Jon Favreau is a show rebel runner, but it was also directed and I think written by the director or creator of Star Wars Rebels. So there was a woman in Star Wars Rebels who looked just like this woman, but I think she was green. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, she was green. So the girl in Star Wars Rebels, who was, you know, basically one of the cast, basically same species, but just green. This one's purple, so it's not the same. But I was trying to figure out who that guy could have been. Like, who was this guy next to her? Like, who was that? You know. But let me see if you see my mark. Who is this guy? But it looks like a human. It looks like they're somewhere looking at a ship, and I guess she's winking at the Mandalorian. I have to assume. And then, I mean, just great visuals, it looked like. And so I want to talk a little bit about this. So this is apparently Mandalore, which is the planet, was seized, and then they lost all their resources, and then they all were like, what do you call, they all were refugees. And that's why I guess they slowly are working back to get their culture back, and that's why he, you know, basically working for his armor piece by piece. It looks like he already had the helmet, and now it looks like he has one shoulder pad. But he looks like he just started because I didn't see any other typical Mandalorian armor on him. I mean, I guess his whole thing is typical, but not necessarily because fact, and I just found this out, Boba Fett and Jango Fett were not Mandalorians. Blew my mind, right? And all the clones were made after them. So the Mandalorians, for one, were different, and they had different armor and also different weapons. Now, he does have the traditional Mandalorian weapon, that little gun with that huge stock and pointy front. That is the same gun that Boba Fett used. Now, I'm guessing that a lot of people see him and think he's Boba Fett. But that's not true, because we know Boba Fett died, and then Jango Fett took over, and then Jango Fett died in the Clone Wars. And this takes place way after the Clone Wars. So just the timeline, I tried to put this together as best I could. So just the timeline, Star Wars goes by BBY, ABY. I have no idea what it means. I can't even pronounce it. So what was what? So pretty much, Obi-Wan died in which one? I'll give you guys a chance to basically to guess. What movie did Obi-Wan die in? Okay, I gave you guys enough time. Okay, the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, right? And so that was 0 BBY, right? So then Yoda, spoiler if you've never seen Star Wars, dies in Return of the Jedi, which was pretty much 4 ABY. So it went from BBY, 0 BBY to 1 ABY. And then 4 ABY is when Yoda died in Return of the Jedi. And then from 4 ABY, it goes to basically 10 ABY, which is when The Mandalorian takes place, right? So basically 6 years, if you want to put it in years terms or whatever, ABY, 6 ABY since Yoda died was when The Mandalorian takes place. So in the Clone Wars, and so it basically the Mandalorian is 24 years or 24 ABY before Force Awakens. So that's the whole timeline. And so during the history, apparently Mandalore, the planet beyond the rim and outer rim, was seized. All their resources from their moon, and they lost it all. And the Empire had, their little briquettes of metal that they traded and they used, and they were slowly giving it back to the Mandalorian. So he used that. He got his armor. So that's the timeline. So these flashbacks is his homeworld getting seized. Imperial forces, and that's probably why, if you've seen it, he's like, yo, I don't want to take no type of Imperial money at all because those guys are filthy. And I guess he was saying, like, how can I take their money when they're the same ones that killed my family and home planet? And then here we see the Mandalore with his blaster. It looks like he's having basically a duel at high noon with someone, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna blast him. We see my guy. Let me see. What was his name? Esposito. But I don't think he was on the IMDb because that was just for the first episode. I guess we're gonna see him later in the Mandalorian, and you see his weapon stock, and it's just saying like, "Yo, all hell's breaking loose. All hell is breaking loose." Flashbacks. And so this was a good scene, though. I mean, I always liked the bounty hunters in Star Wars, especially if you watch the Clone Wars, the movie and the series. You start to see more of the bounty hunters, especially in the Outer Rim. I mean, you got Asajj Ventress, you got Cad Bane, you got IG-88, you got Bosk, you got all these different people. And I'm guessing that the IG models are the robots, and the one from, the Clone Wars was IG-88. This one is IG-11. I don't know how many IG models there are, but they're all badass. And as you can see, they're shooting forwards, backwards at the drop of a dime. And they're putting in serious work. So I always liked the IG models. And they always said that those were the most dangerous. And as you see, he's just getting busy. Stormtroopers holding on by a thread in that scene. The guy they were with was just simply called the Client. And this is the bar fight. Now, it has to be the bar. It has to be Mos Eisley. But like I said, it doesn't matter because everybody's dead. Yoda's been dead. Obi-Wan's been dead. So it's a long time. And that guy who basically gave him the medal is simply called the Client. So, what do I think of The Mandalorian? I mean, I won't give you guys any spoilers. I mean, it's only been one episode. And I hate to judge things too prematurely. I do. I take it for what it's worth. I mean, Disney Plus is successful. It's a new show. We all wanted something more than the last couple Star Wars movies. So, bam, this is it. I mean, it wasn't action. It wasn't bubbling with action. I feel like with Disney's budget, they could have just hit everything, crossed every T, dotted every I. They took it easy on them, whatever. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very done well. I like thrillers. It was very ominous. You just had a great tone to it. What I would like to see. I mean, I like to see the backstory. If you watch any of the 10 Things Missed or the Easter egg breakdowns, you see a lot of the things that you didn't notice that they pointed out as far as characters and things about, Life Day and, what this droid was that he walked past and, just little tips and things that they picked up, but I don't care about that. I mean, I think it was just good so far. I do want to see bigger backstory as far as the Mandalorian. I want to see tie-in with other series I like Rebels. I really like Rebels a lot. I want to see tie-in with other characters that may or may not be dead. Do I need to say it? Should I say it? All right. I want to see Mace Windu. I mean, he should still be alive in this, right? Because, I mean, if we're talking about, we're talking about from the Clone Wars, I guess it is a long time, but if Yoda died, right? So Mace Windu, okay, yeah, pretty much. But I guess there's not a lot of chances for him. But maybe in a flashback, who knows? But I would like to see Mace Windu or some Jedi in this, because in the Clone Wars, the Mandalorians did have some type of black saber, and they did fight with the Jedi. So I would like to see that, tie-in. So that's it. So yeah, this is just trailer review. I think The Mandalorian is going to do great. The new episodes comes out tomorrow. Probably won't do a video for it. I'm just trying to catch some buzz while this just comes out. But I will do a Disney Plus walkthrough, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching as always. I am Awesome Nobody. This is the show, Movie Guru. Let's talk some movies. Remember to follow me on Twitter at movie_guru_. Thanks for your time. Until next episode, stay awesome.